We're back, guys. Where are we? Week 3? Holy crap. Yeah, 3 weeks of October have already flown by like so many dried leaves in the wind. This past week was an exhausting one for me. I was traveling over the weekend and I fell behind on my prompts, hence the slight lateness of this video. Fortunately, we got Claire to back me up and edit this all together for me so I can stay ahead with the rest of the prompts. Everyone drop Claire a thank you down in the comments. The other big change that happened for me this week was a revelation about my rendering style. I wasn't happy with it. So far, I'd give this APOCTOBER like a B-. I'm happy with a lot of them, but this line work heavy style I've been using, I just feel like it's missing something. So most of the pieces that you'll see this week will be more painterly, like my mermaid work. You'll notice the difference in the time-lapse video. If you got some more questions for me about this process, you can drop them in the comments or join me in my streams and ask me live. And speaking of streams, this week's Pokemon design would not have been possible without the help of my Twitch chat. You guys gave me some great ideas, and I hope those of you seeing it for the first time like it as much as we do. Alright, let's get caught up. We're taking another look at Celeste's journal this week, but this time, Celeste hasn't been writing in it. Let's see what this new author has to say.
So, you haven't been feeling well lately. So out of it that you stopped writing in your journal, in fact. As someone who has missed 53 years of Earth's history, I find it valuable to continue logging our little adventures. Who knows what might happen to that poor little mortal memory of yours? I think it was what happened last night that pushed you into this moody state. We had this dead-end lead a while back with Argyle Finch, that cantankerous old sailor who was as stubborn as he was salty. According to his journal, see, they're important, you guys have more than a few things in common. He even had a personal relationship with old Dick Dorr. But he wouldn't give us any help in hunting down the other Enigmorphs. In fact, this jerk told us to drop the whole thing entirely. Oh, and he tried to harpoon me. You had the idea to go out and find his old crewmate, some lady named Mira. Well, we found her. But she wasn't all that thrilled when she found out that the target of her lifelong quest, some Enigmorph that she called the Crown of Thorns, had already been captured by the professor and released by you. She was, what's the word? Pissed? That can't be right. Anyway, you took it pretty hard. We got nowhere with Mira or Finch, and it was kind of all your fault. You'll come around. Celeste, you might be getting worse. I'm still reacquainting myself with human social conduct, but I don't think it's normal for one to just stand by a window for hours on end, muttering to themselves. Even Juno's getting worried. Well, to be fair, she's pretty much always worried. Today, I asked you what it was that you were obsessing over, and you pointed out the window to the building across the street. That's all you gave me. Well, tonight I said to hell with it and just went over to check it out. That's a nice thing about adventuring solo. All those physical boundaries that stand in the way between humans and their curiosity, I can literally phase through them. Here's what I found out about that place. On the outside, it's called the Providence Hope Club. On the inside, it's some weird cult called the Hunters Hope Club. They know about the Enigmorphs, they know about the professor, and they know about you, Celeste. Not sure if they know about me yet. But they had this bizarre stone in their basement that whispered in eldritch tongues. I guess they could understand it, so someone in their circle is pretty well learned in my kind's ways. My guess is that there are several of these stones all around the world, maybe all over this universe, relaying information to this or any other freak show cult looking to bag a few Enigmorphs. I got out of there pretty quick. Okay, so I thought I was done writing in this thing, but Celeste, you just did something really out of character, and I feel like I needed to write it down for you. You're normally a very sound sleeper. I know, I watch you sleep a lot. The last few days, though, you've just been lying in bed with your eyes wide open, mumbling to yourself. Last night, you sat bolt upright in bed, got up, and walked out the door. I followed you, asking you where you were going. No response. I can teleport you there if you just tell me, I said. Nothing. I mean, we must have walked for miles. Your feet, they must have been killing you. You weren't wearing shoes. But you kept going. Finally, we ended up on this hill way outside of town. We walked up to this big hole in the ground. It looked like something had crashed into the Earth's surface. It was smoking, and weird blue light was coming from inside. I can't quite explain it. I don't usually feel anything, so I'm not great at putting it into words. But something about that crater threw me off. I felt weak, vulnerable. I grabbed you and took us both back to Door Manor. We'll see if you remember any of this tomorrow. You're finally asleep, and I want to leave you be for a while. Celeste seems to be getting better. She's talking again and getting back on a normal sleep schedule. Juno's insisting on her keeping with the bed rest, though. She doesn't remember anything that happened with the crater. She seems to have lost a few weeks altogether, but she thanked me for keeping the journal going and asked me to keep it up while she's recovering. I guess you'll see this eventually, so I'll just... I won't write down what I'm thinking right now. Some kids showed up at our door today. They said they knew you, Celeste. How you befriended a group of 10-year-olds, I'm not sure, but they said they needed our help catching what they thought was an enigmorph. They said it was some new kid at the orphanage acting strange. Oh, and eating people alive. But worth investigating, I suppose. I'm not a fan of that amulet, though, so I gave it to them, and we set out to find the thing. It had indeed taken on the form of a human child, which was fitting, as we discovered its mortal's weakness was innocence. Basically, the longer it spent on Earth, the more of its innocence was lost, and the more dangerous and powerful it became. I spent the day with these 3 kids, showing the enigmorph that there was some good in this world. It took forever. Least interesting capture yet. And I guess it was hard for them to say goodbye once it was weak enough to capture. I don't know, they got really attached to it, and because it was back to its vulnerable, innocent self, it just looked like a normal human kid again. It's kind of pathetic how these other enigmorphs get so human-like the longer they stay on Earth. The one kid, Twiggy, asked his buddy Bull not to capture it, but we knew that its innocence would eventually fade and it would start getting powerful again. We had to put it down. Actually, never mind. I'll just ask you that in person. Against my better judgment, you went to the Hunter's Hope Club. I told you I wasn't going to come, and you went anyway. Nothing bad happened, you said. Well, now they know about me. They know that I'm right across the street, and they know that despite you controlling one of the 3 amulets, you still choose not to capture me. Now, they're going to go off and start telling their buddies. The Marinin, those freaky fish faces, they're alright. They say that the mortals and the enigmorphs can coexist. Great, fine, wonderful. The Xenomen, though? Actual aliens from across the galaxy coming here to Earth to hunt my kind. Yeah, the humans at the Hunter's Hope Club aren't going to take any action. They're the weakest members of the Coalition of Mortal Madness, and you have their amulet. But they have that rock, and they're broadcasting everything you told them to the other mortal races. The Marinin are under threat once again from the Crown of Thorns that you released, so they won't protect me. And now the bearer of the Xenomen amulet is here on Earth. I've got half a mind to just blow dodge and hang out on another planet somewhere until this all smooths over. If you're reading this, I'm probably already gone. It's been a very, very long time since I last spoke with one of my own kind. Most of the enigmorphs I capture with you are feral, or they choose not to interact with me. think I know why. Tonight, I had the honor of meeting one of the most powerful enigmorphs in existence, and you can thank them for my still being here on Earth. I wanted to leave. I almost did. I had just finished scribbling out that last entry in your journal when one of those agonizing little candle crabs scuttled over the desk. Of course, I can understand what they're saying. You can't. Basically, it asked me to come down into the basement and see that whack job Devoir. She was different, not so spacey. She had changed her getup too. She cleaned up the wax and, well, okay, no, she still looked insane. She spoke to me through the voice of her Enigmorph minions, the voice of the waxen mother. I don't have to write down everything she told me here, and I don't think I can. Human languages are so limiting. She reminded me why I was here on Earth in the first place. What I saw in this world when we first came here all those years ago. That old egg really loves this green rock, and I guess I can stick it out a little longer.
What did you guys think of a change of perspective? Everything I've written so far in the APOCTOBER world has been from Celeste's point of view, and it was fun to change it up, see the world through the eyes of an Enigmorph. And while we're on the topic of creepy eyes, I think it's time we looked at Day 21's prompt, another Pokemon design, and a right strange one at that. I had a lot of fun designing it, and I hope you all like it as much as I do. So, when I put the prompt Steel on the list, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do for it. I had two rough ideas: a Steel-type Eeveelution, which I knew the fans would love, or another inanimate object Pokemon, drawing inspiration from ancient gold idols. Since I was designing this Pokemon during a stream, I decided to ask the Twitch chat which concept they preferred. To my surprise, the vote was for the idol design, and to be honest, I was thrilled. I don't think I would do an Eeveelution justice. Anyway, I was still not entirely sure what I wanted to go with for this gold idol idea. I just started sketching, spitballing ideas from the reference images that I had collected. I liked the idea of a little mask with dangling earrings that hung down from the face like arms, and then I decided that I could throw in a dark typing if I made the earrings like huge blades. I further refined the idea by adding in some inspiration that the chat provided, imagery of the Maya god of bats, Camazotz. It helped me get away from a skull shape and made the whole design a bit more animated. Originally, I gave the Pokemon crystal eyes, but it made it look too unfocused and lost some of the severity that I wanted the design to convey. I thought about this Pokemon as a counterpart to Rototona, another inanimate Pokemon that I designed that was also based off of ancient Mesoamerican artifacts. I made the eyes more similar to that Pokemon's. I also gave them the same base stat total. Maybe the two could be version exclusives, something like that. In keeping with the overall theme of APOCTOBER, this Pokemon is strange, unnerving, and a bit dangerous looking. It's one of the weirdest ones I've done yet, but I'm really happy with it. I imagine its in-game animations floating in the air, swinging its chains around, and lashing out at opponents. Shibalbat, the idol Pokemon. One of the rarest and possibly most dangerous Pokemon in the Maza region, Shibalbat are able to cleave through solid stone with a single swing of their blades. In ancient times, they were known as the Harbingers of Despair, and even seeing one was considered to be bad luck. In modern times, they are often sought out by treasure hunters for their alleged ability to create gold. This has never been confirmed, though accounts of local Meowth populations hunting down Shibalbat have been reported. Well, that's all for this week, guys. Don't forget to share your APOCTOBER work in our Discord or in the Fan Art Friday channel if you want it to be featured next week in our video. Hope you enjoyed the new Mon and the new journal entries and Enigmorphs. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next week.